All right. It say I'm live, so I'm live. Hello, hello, hello. It's your girl Candy with an E, and we are back. 3M virtual conference. If you have been getting something out of these talks with the people, then put a number one down. Say, yeah, I got, just basically saying, yeah, I got something out of it. You know what I'm saying? If not, maybe you'll get something out of it today. So, hey, Cedrica. So needless to say, today we got Dr. Stevie Aisha Mills. And when I say she is the bomb.com, if you want to get visible, this is the girl that you need to be talking to. But I ain't gonna give you all of it because she gonna come out here and she gonna tell you all about what she do. But again, it's your girl Candy with the E. We are here on a Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday. Who had tacos today? I did. So needless to say, it's Taco Tuesday. We gonna sit up here and have some fun. I need you to get your pens or pencils, your notepad out, because when I tell you, she is going to give you the business. Okay, so if you're not listening, you better listen, because this girl knows everything there is when it comes down to getting visible. Okay, so Pixie always got to be different, but ain't nothing wrong with that, girl. Fried chicken. Erica got us on the dang on fried chicken the other day, and I need her. I need her to stop showing us pictures of fried chicken, okay? But again, it's your girl, and we finna bring Dr. Stevie Aisha Mills up, and we gonna start this conversation, okay? So let's get Stevie on here, get unmuted, and hey, girl, hey.
Hi. I'm so excited to be here. Look, I'm starting my watch parties and everything because, honey, I know we about to have fun.
Exactly. So, we are so happy to have you here today. But what I want you to do is to introduce yourself. Tell people who you are and what you do.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Stevie Aisha Mills. Praise Jesus for the doctorate, Lord. That's honorary doctorate, y'all. I ain't spent all them years. The Lord blessed me with a doctorate. But I do have an undergrad degree in public relations, and I do have a graduate degree in human resources. But I spend all of my days helping women get seen and get paid, honey. So I have been in this entrepreneurial world since 2009. Oh my gosh. I know I look young, right? I was here when I was a baby, but I've been in PR since 1996. When I was a student, I've worked in nonprofit, for-profit, all kinds of places. I worked influencers, all a manner of places. So I'm excited because I want to help y'all to get some money, right? Have money conversation.
How about that? So what I want you to do, because a lot of times people, they think that it's just really hard to be visible, but I want you to really just tell your story. How did you get started?
Awesome. And hello, everyone. Hello to the money makers. Some of the money makers are in here. Yes, and yay. So I got started. Can you believe I had to do my own stuff? I had to do my own stuff. Yes, I did have a degree in PR, but I always tell people I went from kindergarten to grad school. Next logical thing for me was to get a job. I never stopped school. And so the first job I loved, it was for a nonprofit. They walked me in, they gave me a sheet of paper and they said, Stevie, what will you do with this? And I was like, what? And it was a grant for the position. And so I got to do the things I love. I was supposed to be there 3 months. It transitioned inside of 3 years. And I did a program called the School to Work Transition Program. So I worked with teens and I was able to create internships. I was able to create programming. I was able to take them to different events like the National Black Theater Festival in Winston, North Carolina, all kinds of things. So I got to work from home, work my own hours, kind of like what I do now. But then the grant finally ran out. And oh my gosh, I said, well, the more degrees you have, the more money you're supposed to make. That's what I thought. Anyway, I don't know if anybody else thought that, but that's what I thought. And I went to corporate America. Anybody who knows me knows, y'all can't see me in corporate. I didn't even know that for myself. I can't see me in corporate America either. And the training was awesome and amazing because I love to travel. They put me up in a nice hotel, gave me something called per diem. They pay you daily to eat some good food. Yes, I'm with that. But then when I actually got into the position of what my job was going to be, I was like, I hate this. They tell you what to do, when to do it, who to do it for, all the stuff. It was too many rules for me. And so what happened was that I actually ended up really, really ill. I went from a size 14 to a size 0, had 3 colonoscopies within 30 days, 2 within 24 hours, and I had shingles all at the age of 30. So I tell people I think I'm allergic to corporate America. I don't know. My body went out of whack. But that was in 2009. And ever since, I've been an entrepreneur.
Oh, wow. Okay. So how about that, y'all? You never know what people actually went through. And a lot of us ex-corporate America people can't remember how in the world we did that. But hey, you got to make it do what it do, right? So let's talk about being visible. Let's talk about actually getting on TV and in the news and stuff like that. What do you recommend people that can't afford your services, what they should do to get visible?
Well, I have a book that Taria Vision Avant just helped me do called TV Time. Yes, you guys are among the first people to really see this, but TV Time is encapsulated. And I'm also teaching a class that's called TV Time as well. But the first thing that I tell you to do is to pitch. What does pitch mean? I know we got some urban CEOs up in the building, so I'm gonna break it down. What does pitch mean? It means reaching out to the media, like finding out who is the person who puts on the media. Normally it's called the editor, and you just research them and you shoot your shot. I love telling people the truth behind PR. Everybody doesn't know what PR is, so that means that everybody's not ready for PR. And the job of a publicist simply is to pitch you to the news, right? That is all. I can't guarantee you that you're going to get placement. If a person guarantees you that you're going to get placement who's a publicist, honey, run, because that is not something that you could guarantee. This is earned media. You have to earn it. So I told somebody that today who hired me to do some PR, and I was like, let me tell you before you pay me, because I have integrity. Let me tell you that I can't make you be on the news. They can choose or not choose, but what I can do is do the best in my pitching.
Right. And that is one of the things that a lot of people mess up with in all industries. Like I was telling you before we got started, with me being in the entertainment industry when I first got started, that's one of the things that people that want to be your clients assume. They assume that you can get them a whole bunch of, spots on the television, spots on the radios, speaking engagements and stuff like that. But a lot of times it's what's your niche. You know what I'm saying? Your niche can get you jacked up too. You know what I'm saying? Because, hey, they don't want to talk to somebody that's talking about kids today. They need to talk to somebody that's talking about older people. So, I'm glad that you said what you said about integrity, because a lot of people don't have that, and they do promise you things that you cannot get. And then you mad because you didn't spend money out and time and effort for nothing.
Yeah.
But as a coach, that's what you're supposed to do. You're telling them up front what it is that you can do and how it is that they can do it. Normally, how long do you say that someone needs to focus their attention on trying to get on the media per week? Because you need to be out there trying to pitch yourself, but how often should you be pushing to, let's say you're trying to get on a particular magazine, get in a particular magazine. How often should you say something? You sent the first pitch out, you know what I'm saying? How long is it before you follow up on that?
Yes, and that's definitely the word, follow up. Because you gotta think right now, especially right now, the world is in an interesting place. So your good-hearted story may or may not be seen. And it's because we don't know what's gonna happen from day to day right now. We just don't. We did not expect coronavirus. We did not expect George Floyd and all the other deaths that happened during this time. And we did not expect, or we did expect, that this is a election year, right? So those three things that kind of are up against you, because in the world of news, they're going to look for the things that are new, that makes news. So the thing that I think you should do is definitely follow up, and definitely follow up in the correct times, because guess what? There are certain times when you shouldn't follow up, certain times of day. And I always tell my clients to look for the morning shows. Yes, those shows that wait, you get up and you have to be there at 4 o'clock in the morning. You're like, but that's the time when you get on, because it's a lot easier to get on a morning show than it is to necessarily get at 6 o'clock. People aren't, if you look at the news, people aren't really pitching 6 o'clock news, because that's more of the world news. That's more of the general, like what's happening in the world. So what's happening in your town. And I think that we just have to go on the basis of pitching, continually pitch, because you never know who's going to say yes. You never know. You never know what they're going to be looking for. You never know, like, and be always ready, because if somebody drops out or gets sick, then they might call you. You never know. This in PR is definitely something that you got to be ready for at all times. That's why I believe in visibility, and there's a distinction between visibility and PR. But in PR, you just have to keep pitching, and you got to follow up. And I would say the timeline of following up for me would be like, say, for example, you're having an event in the next 6 weeks. You want to start promoting now, reaching out, building relationships. That's what we have in PR, relationships. Start building these relationships, and then closer, like maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you want to reach out to them once a week, like, hi, and be somebody who's a good steward of the news. If you're a good steward of the news and you know what the news is going to definitely look for, then you can start I would just start like, I thought you might need this, because editors are always looking for news, journalists are always looking for the news. And that's a ninja tip, that if you if you want to be top of mind, then you definitely want to start building and cultivating the relationship with the news by helping them out, because they need help. So that means you need to write and pitch and follow up in a professional way. And if you want to do a press release, or if you want to do an email, please watch your grammar, watch your writing, and don't say something crazy, because they might need it and put it in the paper. That's happened to me. I wrote something, they didn't even edit it, they put it in the paper. And so that might happen to you too. I don't know. But just, if you never send it, then it'll never be printed, or it'll never be aired.
Right. I know you right about that, because sometimes they'll ask you for your bio or something like that, and then the next thing you know, the magazine is out, and however it got sent over is exactly how I got put in, and then you're like, oh my God, it's a typo. But guess what? It's done. Once it's in print, it is done. So sometimes people will print it, but normally that is it. So you do need to do that. So one of the things that I really want people to understand is, when is it they should actually get a PR person like you? You know what I'm saying? What elements do they need to have going on in their business life for them to actually need a PR person? And we're not talking about the money, because we know they need to be able to pay the PR person. If you can't pay the PR person, then don't call the PR person. Be the type of client that you want to be, if you want to coach, then you need to be the type of client, when it comes down to that, you got to be able to pay for stuff, just like, services ain't free. You don't want people to be asking you for free services. Don't be asking people for free services from them. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. I go off on that, because
it's true.
But what is it that they need to actually be things, they basically a checklist, if these 3 or 4 things or 5 things they need to have in order for them to actually reach out to somebody for help with PR.
And I know we said not the money, but I want to say it this way, because this is important. I think it was the first thing that dropped in my spirit to say. And I think that it's not about the money. Like, I'm not talking about as far as budget, but what I am talking about is that you need to be at a standpoint in your business that if you pay the publicist and they are not able to secure you news, that you won't miss. Don't pay them with your bill money. basically. Don't pay with your bill money, because it may or may not happen, may or may not be your time. And so I think you do have to have a budget. I'm always telling my clients they need a marketing budget. They need some type of budget in which that's separate from your bills that you can pay with, because if not, you're not at the right point. Because if you're always just paying out of your own personal money, it's going to cause some type of resentment, because most publicists keep you on a retainer. PR is not cheap. It's not cheap. My services are probably at the lower range because I simply pitch for somebody. But when you're talking about what most people think of a publicist, you're thinking maybe a 4-figure investment per month. So you need to have something. I'm not taking your money if I feel like you're gonna be homeless after I say, because that's not gonna be good for my conscience. I'm not gonna be the victim of helping you be having a repossession, lights cut off, stuff like that. But I do want to bring that point home. The second thing I would say is definitely have some pictures. First, have a professional headshot. With Candy and I talked about that a little bit. Have a headshot, but also start taking pictures with your expensive device. See, I have an Apple. Some people might have other company, but start taking pictures with your device, because what happens is that the news they're always looking for footage, right? So they need something to back up the story. Rarely have I seen somebody just go on the news and they've not asked for footage. And the thing about having it with your own phone is that if it's somebody who's a professional and they've taken pictures of your event or whatever you're marketing, then they have to give them credit. So they'd rather have uncredited photos, so they don't have to go through all that, because that then becomes an advertisement of some sort. So that's why they always ask you for photos. The third thing is to have something under your belt. Like, don't just, you can pitch your first event, but also have something where you can send them that's going to be substantial. Like, don't just, you have to arrive to the point of publicity, because they are going to ask you questions about your event. And if this is a first time event, then you could definitely say that. But what else have you done in the past? What else do you bring to the table? Also, I think it's important to have something that is newsworthy, and really meaning, like, why should I care? And that's really how the media looks at it. It's not, Dr. Stevie cares because I care about you, but the news is very black and white. The news is it's not subjective. Now, the channels that it appears on may be subjective, certain stations versus certain stations, but the way in which the news itself is not subjective. It's black and white. So why should I care about what you're doing? And if you can't tell me why I should care, then I'm not going, literally, I can't do anything for you, because that's the point in which we have to pitch. And so I would also say the last thing is to have patience, because this is a long game. PR is a long game. We got to build these relationships. We got to make you look like the hottest thing since sliced bread. It's a whole lot of work that has to be done. And, it's funny, not funny, but when I was saying that, this whole thing about the whole cancel culture, people are getting canceled out here left and right. So a bonus to what I would say is to keep yourself on the up and up. Please, right now, be you, whoever you are. Send that person to the meeting. Show that person. Don't show somebody you're not, because I saw this week somebody get canceled in a brutal way because she was pretending to have some education, some stuff that she didn't have. And they drug her basically through social media. It became a legal issue. And depending on what the outcome is, she might be facing jail time. So when I talk about PR, I talk very seriously about you showing up who you are. Don't just have like this whole thing of, oh, I went here and you didn't go there, or I could do this and you can't do, because social media right now is hot, and I would hate for any of y'all to get canceled.
Right. And be truthful. I tell people that all the time. If you didn't do it, don't say you did it. You know what I'm saying? Because they look for stuff. They look for a reason to dog you. So let's talk about some of these titles that you have. We heard about the doctor. I don't care how you got it, you got it. Let's talk about the chief it factor cultivator. How did that come about?
It came from the book Cultivating Your It Factor. So that was my first book, and it came from my journey of me really focusing on what my it factor is, understanding about how to be myself. I was telling somebody earlier in an interview, I told them, I said, I always wanted to blend in. I did not want to stand out. And that just wasn't my life. Like, I was a little girl named Stevie, so I was already destined to stand out. But I didn't want to. I wanted to be Stacy, Samantha, Stephanie, somebody that something could pronounce and get it right and not ask, did your daddy want a boy? But then for me, that's how it came. So being the chief
Yeah.
it factor cultivator is because I just help people to come to their it factor, to be, I'm like, everybody be themselves. So, and my bio is written by Dr. Marilyn Porter, and that's something, the name she gave me too. So I think just really honestly, just the whole thing of having everybody be themselves and just coming to who they are.
Right, right. And then how many books do you actually have? Because I know you got a lot of them. So how many books have you actually written?
At this point, 16, about to be, I'm supposed, in the next couple of days, I'm wrapping up another one. I had this crazy goal of getting to 20 books in 2020. And I was like,
Okay.
Lord, and I ain't even think about how I'm going to do that. But I made the goal. I have these big, audacious goals, but I will, at the end of this year, have 20 books in 2020.
Okay. What made you start writing?
Somebody say I should write. I never wanted to write. My story, I always tell people, I'm like, I'm really like the Black Forrest Gump when it comes to entrepreneurship. I just fell into one thing, and one thing led to other, and one thing led to other, but I never wanted to write. And so I did a summit, telesummit called 24 Hours of New Beginnings Power, and that was back in 2014. And I had 42 speakers in 30 days. And so for me, a lot of that came out of that. We were like, what happens next? And so I launched a collaboration project, anthology. And so that was the first in 2015. That's the first book I wrote.
Okay. Okay. So we got how many books left? 4?
Yep.
Okay.
Shout out to Chanel. I'll be in Chanel's book. Then I have another one coming out. Then I have one about, so I'll have, by the end of this, I have about 20, if not 21 books. So that's definitely, we're making it work, but it has been a journey.
We gonna keep up with it, because if you at 19 by November, I'm gonna be caught. Because I need that goal to be made, so then that way I can say, yes, she did it. And you can do it too.
Yes.
Now what about Conversations with Stevie? Is that still in production, and when does it air?
The Conversation, it airs, actually, if we are doing it, I do the conversations kind of sporadically. Because I'm like, that's another thing. Someone said, Stevie, you should get into podcasting. That was back in 2010. So I've been podcasting all these years, but I am getting some consistency. I think the next show should be out next week. But yeah, it airs. It's a blessing because it's on iHeartRadio. It's on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Castbox. It's on a lot of places, which is amazing. So now I'm teaching the podcasting class because I've learned how to do it. But yeah, the Conversation with Stevie is where I talk about the why behind the what of what people do. So it's a fun thing, and very much like we're having a conversation that just happens to be recorded.
Exactly. So do you actually like doing the podcasting better than, sort of like TV or stuff like that? Do you like it better?
I love both. Podcasts and live streaming, I recommend more because it's easier to own your visibility. At any time, we could go and get live and do whatever we want to do. But pitching the PR, again, is earned media. But I like being on TV. I like being interviewed. I've been on TV a few times, and my clients have been on TV a few times as well. But I love the fact of taking something within your own hands and owning it versus somebody saying, oh, I think you're good enough.
Right. And then let's talk about some other stuff. Pieces of my platform.
Yeah. That was a collaboration book that I did, an anthology that I did. And that one was, that one was something. because a lot of times you see these powerful platforms, but you don't know how people got to where they are. And so for me, I've gone through so much in business. I've gone through evictions, I've gone through repossessions, I've gone through people getting upset and mad, I've gone through all kinds of things, all kinds of situations, but it's all built my platform. So the pieces of my platform is everything that I and the other co-authors have gone through to truly build this thing that we call business. It's allowed us to do this, because without it, you wouldn't have it. And then there are people like in that book, some powerful testimonies that you look at these people, you be like, wow, I didn't even, never knew that. But it's definitely one of those books where you're like, whoo.
Exactly. So you hit on a lot of different things, but let's talk about your coaching. Tell people about your coaching platform. What do you coach on, and that type of thing.
I coach on a lot of things that have to deal with visibility. So for me, how do you get seen? How do you get paid? How do you leverage getting seen into getting paid? We have the Money Makers Club, which is a group coaching. It's our membership. And that is something in which the ladies get to really, really collaborate, and they get to support each other. They get to learn from myself and experts like you. You came and hung out with us, and different things like that. Is because I know how it is to not have a safe place to say, hey, I want to be seen, but I don't know how. And a lot of times women, when you get in certain rooms, you're scared to say, I don't know how, because you're supposed to be the smartest pencil in the box, which I stopped subscribing to that thought a long time ago. But, it takes some work to get to that point. And I think for me, just really coaching on, you are amazing and you can do this. You just need to know how to do it.
Right. So in closing, let's talk about how people can find you on social media.
Definitely. I invite every woman to come on in our Get Visible group. We're excited about that group. It's grown. I think, and when I started like really in March with the group was older than that, but I started like growing it again in March, and now we have almost 1,200 people. It was like 100 and something before. And that is the space I always invite people to, because they get to not only meet with me, but they get to see so many amazing women. And we do allow, women to share what they're working on. We allow promotion in that group because it's important for them to get visible. So it's a safe place to do that. And I really like that, because so many places they don't have to go. So bit.ly Get Visible group, or search and Get Visible group on there is where you can find me. I'll be there.
And then your social media handles.
At Just Stevie. You can find me on Periscope, on TikTok. I need to be on TikTok more, but I have a presence over there. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can find me all those places. You just need to know how to spell my first name correctly. Stevii at Just Stevie.
TikTok. Y'all can have TikTok. Y'all can have TikTok.
It's like a full-time job. All this stuff. Thank God for people like Candy to help us, because it's a full-time job to do that stuff. And I would love to do TikTok if I had time, because they do fun little stuff over there. I just don't have the time to think of it and put it up. So
I can't, Jesus. So again, thank you, Dr. Stevie Aisha Mills, for coming and hanging out with us here at the 3M virtual conference, where motivation makes money. Okay. So I want you guys to tune in tomorrow night, 7:00. Who we got? Tomorrow night, we got Lashina Recruitalina Matthews in the house. Yes, she is thebomb.com. She can, if you in corporate America, she can actually help you get your money together, get some ends that way, like moving on up like George and Weezy. She can help you do that in corporate America. Keep trying to tell y'all, the people this week is on it. This 3M virtual conference is just every person I bring up until Friday is going to blow the place up. Now, make sure that you tune in Saturday night, because we're going to have the everybody there. You get to ask all kinds of questions. So all of these notes I've been having you guys to write down, you need to get all your questions down because on Saturday we going in, okay? So again, thank you guys for coming and joining and hanging out with me, your girl Candy with an E, at the 3M virtual conference, and we will see you guys tomorrow night. Holla.